Dear Heavenly Father, I know what I have done, and I know it's a sin. I did it because of all He's done to me.
This is 92-year-old Anna Blessing, who's just realized that she cannot simply take the life of the son she brought into this world. Now she clings to prayer, seeking forgiveness for the weight of her actions. On July 2nd, 2018, Anna Blessing was taken into custody in Fountain Hills, Arizona, after fatally shooting her 72-year-old son, Thomas. But Anna's violence didn't stop there. Detectives would soon discover that Thomas wasn't her only target.
Just shot her son. She's got another gun and she's gonna shoot me. Get away! She's got the gun. She's trying to shoot me. I need to hide.
However, when the detectives took Anna into custody and began listening to her side of the story, her shocking revelations flipped the entire narrative on its head, leaving the detectives questioning who the real culprit truly was.
Well, I probably ought to be put to sleep. What can I do for society? I killed my son.
So do you know what things are really all about?
I know the whole thing.
Okay. So what I would like for you to do is to walk me through everything that happened from the time that you woke up this morning, Anna, all the way up until me coming in here and talking to you right now.
Well, can I first of all tell you what led up to this, what brought it on?
Absolutely.
Ever since we got to Florida, well, it's to Arizona, started in Florida, and why I came with him, I'll never know. But Tom has a very foul mouth, and he's had 2 years and 2 months of anger management, because he used to beat his stepson. That was years ago. That was in Oregon. And his wife turned him in for beating the kids. And he had, not only that, but he had a very foul mouth. He was one of the most domineering persons I've ever known. Extremely domineering. He expects everybody to hump for him. And if not, you can get called almost anything. And when we lived on in Black Canyon, him and Julie had the bedroom not too far from where mine was, rather close. And he used to set that thermostat so cold. And I would go out once in a while and turn it up a little bit, a couple degrees up, because there was no need for it. But he seemed to feel there was. And one day I walked out to the kitchen and where he was, and I said, Tom, I said, could you and I have a common sense talk about the thermostat, real quiet like, because he's very, very loud and mouthy, and he came up to me and he got his face right down next to mine, and he said, you F&B, he says, I'll talk to you any way I want to.
Anna's story offers a heartbreaking glimpse into the deep fear of abandonment and the loss of independence she experienced while living with her son. But is she telling the truth or portraying herself as a victim to cast her son in a negative light and gain sympathy from the detectives? Soon, Anna is about to reveal what actually drove her to take her own son's life that day.
So Anna, what I'd like to do is I'd like to fast forward to today.
Yeah.
And what I'd like for you to do is to start by basically begin with you waking up this morning.
Yeah.
And then When you first woke up this morning, walk me through everything
I
that
didn't
happened
wake
from the
up
time.
this morning. I haven't slept for 3 nights because when they come in the house, they don't talk to me. They just walk straight on through. I stayed home well, I always stay home, but I took care of Jasper, Tom's cat, for 4 days, 5 days while they went on a vacation. That was fine because I had to stay home all the time anyway.
Okay, so what was going through your mind the last 3 or 4 days? I mean, and what I'm
Well,
trying to
you
understand
know,
is if you were angry, if you were sad, if you were, if you felt depressed, if you were happy. Good.
Because they definitely were going to send me to a old people's home.
And what made you feel as though they were definitely going to send you to an old
They
people's
told
home?
me.
Did they tell you when they were going to send you to this?
Not exactly, but that I had to go. And my granddaughter said to me that I was interfering with Tom and Brenda's affair. And I could have sat and told her that one time when not too long ago, Julie came by me while I was working in the kitchen, and she made some remark about their relationship. And I told her that, I asked her, I says, Julie, did you and your first husband ever have 3 in the bed? And she says, no, we never believed in it. I says, well, I says, then how about you and Tom and Jack Daniels? Not another word was said. Either way, she didn't say anything more, and I didn't say anything more. That was it.
Okay. Last night, were things normal in the house, as normal as they can be last night, or did you guys have any disagreements or any discussions last night?
When they come in the door, they head for the bedroom, and they get into bed. They lay there and watch television. I'm at the other end of the house where I'm sitting in a chair and watching television because I have nobody to talk to.
Okay.
I might as well not have a speaking voice.
Was there a point this morning, sometime in the morning, where you went into their bedroom? You went into the master bedroom where Tom and Julie sleep?
Yeah.
Okay. So why did you decide to go into the bedroom?
Well, I figured if I didn't get it done, that it wouldn't get solved.
Okay. What is it that you wanted to get done?
Well, first I started to talk with Tom about the situation, and he says, well, we could have left you in Florida, and when your money run out, you'd be out on the street. And I almost think that would have been better. But this morning, I was tired. I hadn't slept for so long. And they had been ignoring me so thoroughly. And
Were you upset? Were you angry when you went in there?
kinda, yeah.
Okay. Were there any other feelings that were going through your mind at that point?
No, but until Tom started in on me, and
Okay, what exactly did Tom tell you?
I can't remember exactly.
Okay. Whatever it was that he told you, how did it make you feel?
No different than when he always gets on his rampage.
Okay, so you said he had made these mentions about it would have been better for you to stay in Florida?
To stay in Florida, well, I agree with him. It would have been better if I'd have stayed in Florida.
So what happens next after you have this discussion with Tom?
Well, I had my gun, and I used it. because they were going to send me to a home.
Okay.
Anna discloses several reasons behind her growing resentment toward Thomas. She confesses that he had decided to send her to a nursing home, a decision that deeply wounded her. She also describes a noticeable shift in his behavior after he moved in with Julie, marked by an increase in rudeness and emotional distance. This provides insight into why she targeted Julie after killing Thomas. Her statement elicits a measure of sympathy, yet it also raises a critical question. If Anna truly wanted to resolve the matter, could she not have chosen a different approach to do that? Instead, she opted to go with the evil one. However, the detectives will soon determine whether Anna's heinous act stemmed solely from neglect or if additional factors were involved.
So you had your gun. What kind of gun did you have?
It was a Charter Arms.
Charter Arms? And what caliber?
I can't remember the caliber. It was a good size one.
So when you go into the bedroom and you have this Charter Arms gun, and you said that you don't have the hammer resting on a bullet, okay? When you go in there, where is the Charter Arms gun?
In my pocket.
Okay. So walk me.
And then I backed out and came over, and there Julie came at me from this direction for some reason, and so I pulled my gun out. I was gonna shoot her.
Okay, well let's first. You walk into the room. You've got your gun.
Yeah.
This is before you and Tom have a discussion. Okay. When you go into the room initially and you talk to Tom, is your gun in your pocket?
Yeah.
Okay. And what causes you to remove your gun from your pocket?
When I left the room, started leaving from the room, Julie come towards me, and I pulled it out, and I pulled the hammer back first and pulled it out, and she grabbed for it, and Tom came from this side, and I backed up and I pulled the trigger, and it broke the mirror, and I don't know what it did, and then Tom was going to come at me again, so I pulled the trigger again.
Okay, so you fired the gun twice?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when you fired the first round, you said hit the mirror?
I don't know. I think it hit him, but I'm not sure how.
The first round?
I'm not sure.
Okay. How about the second round?
I know the second round hit him.
Okay, where did it hit him?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But
So
I do know I killed him because Julie was over by her bed by then, and she had my gun, my Charter Arms, but I had my 25, and I bent over before I went back to my room. I bent over and took his pulse, and there was no pulse, so I knew I killed him. And I went back and went to my bedroom and sat in the chair and waited for the police to come.
Anna calmly confesses to killing her son, justifying it as the right choice after Thomas broke his promise, a promise that had led her to sell her house and move in with him. Once an independent woman, Anna found herself facing the painful reality of loneliness, emotional isolation, and a lack of support, even while living with her son, who had promised to take care of her. She also claims that she only entered their bedroom to have a conversation with Thomas, but the discussion took a drastic turn, leading her to pull the trigger. She insists she never intended to kill Thomas. However, a troubling question arises. If what she said was true, why did she enter their room with guns hidden inside her robe?
when you went into the bedroom with the guns, did you go in there with the intention to kill Tom?
Not really, but
Well, not really can mean a lot of things. So let's. When you went into the bedroom with the two guns, did you go in there with the intention to kill Tom?
When I got thinking about being put into a nursing home after all the promises he'd made me, I guess maybe I did. I don't know.
The
whole thing is a big haze.
I understand, Anna, but you have to help me understand what's going through your mind at that time. So
I don't really know what was going through my mind at that time.
okay, but you said that you and I don't want to put words in your mouth, so correct me if I'm wrong. But you said you sort of went in there with the intent to kill him.
Well, I don't know if I did or not.
Okay, why else would you go in there with the gun?
Well, I guess I was waiting to find out whether and about the being put in a nursing home, and it just wasn't discussed, I guess. But what happened after that really isn't clear with me
Okay.
in any way, shape, or form.
Did you go in there with the intent to kill Julie?
No.
So after you have shot the gun twice, you said you don't know what happens to the gun, but there's a point where you have a second gun?
I have a
Where
little
was-
25.
Okay.
I had a little 25
Where did you have that second gun?
in my other pocket.
In your other pocket? And when did you pull that gun out?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember what you did with that gun? And what I mean by that is, do you remember if you pulled it out and just held it down by your side, or did you pull it out and pointed it at someone or something else?
Julie was behind the bed and hollering at me, and I pointed the gun at her.
And how do you know Tom's dead?
I bent over before I left there and felt his pulse. There was none.
Okay. When you reached down and felt that he didn't have a pulse, how'd you feel?
I didn't have much of a feel, I guess, because you have no idea what he's put me through the last year. And before that, there was never a thing. Before Julie, nothing happened. I could not understand that. It didn't make sense to me.
Okay, when you felt that he was dead, I mean, did you feel like a sense of relief, like it's finally over? Did you feel any remorse? Did you feel sad for what had happened? I mean,
I don't know how I felt. I'll be honest with you, I really don't know how I felt.
okay. How do you feel right now about what happened?
I wish I'd stayed in Florida.
Okay. Do you feel bad for what happened?
Yes, in the sense that I killed my own son. But in another way to look at it is he can't holler and scream at anybody else. And because, it could be mercifully. You have no idea how loud his voice would get and how vicious. He got after Julie, and he's give Julie a lot of hollers too.
Okay. Do you feel bad about what happened, what you did to Julie?
What he did to
Do
Julie.
you feel bad about what you did to Julie in the sense that you pointed a gun in her direction?
Yeah, kinda. But she's part of the trying to get me into a nursing home too, so I don't know that I do feel that bad because, since I've come from Florida, between the two of them, the promises that they've made to me, I was supposed to go out and get some summer shoes. I was supposed to go out and get some blouses. And they were going to take me out to get some more clothes. Because when I left Florida, had planned on going up to shop for clothes before I left. But they couldn't take me up because they didn't figure they had enough time to do that and help finish the packing too. I don't know where things have gone wrong.
Despite the gravity of her actions, Anna remains adamant in her denial, asserting that the shooting was the result of drastic circumstances rather than a premeditated act. Her statements also reveal that she does not view her actions as wrong, but rather justifies them as a response to what her son deserved. Additionally, her lack of remorse highlights the emotional erosion she experienced after years of mistreatment and dismissal. After hearing her account, the detective is eager to understand Anna's perspective, particularly what she believes the future holds in the aftermath of her crime.
With everything that's happened now that you've had a chance to look back, what do you think should happen right now? What do you think should happen next?
Well, I probably ought to be put to sleep,
And what do you mean by that?
done away with. I'm no longer any good to society. And
Why do you feel that way?
what can I do for society? I killed my son.
I just have one other question before I take a quick break. You said that obviously you were concerned that they were going to put you in a home.
I was flat out told I was going to put me in a home.
You were told that. Were you specifically told what home or when you were going to be placed in this home, or if there was any meetings going that they were, that either Julie or Tom were going to meet with somebody to discuss putting you in a home?
Well, Tom has talked to Steve from Arizona, something or another. And Tom tried to tell me all the good points about it. But what kind of good points are there to somebody who's always been independent and on their own and been promised that they'll never have to live in a home? What are the good points?
Would you say that that's part of why you felt your life was over, because those things were going to be taken from you if you were going to be in a home?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a sad day when your son don't want you anymore after he's promised over and over and over that I'd never have to live in a nursing home. And I talked to him on the phone one day, and before him and Julie came down, everything was just, we could talk about anything. I never heard him be harsh with his words or anything. I really think I don't know.
Anna no longer sees herself as part of the world and believes she has outlived her significance, feeling disconnected and no longer a contributor. This sense of profound loss of identity and purpose reflects a deep psychological withdrawal, often seen in individuals who experience prolonged isolation and emotional neglect. Following Anna's testimony, the detectives shift their focus to Julie to determine whether her statements align with or contradict Anna's account.
You can just kind of just walk me through from you guys getting ready, and then walk me through. Just, I don't want you to go super quick, but you can probably maybe keep some minutionary things. We'll go over those things more in depth in a minute, but if you can just kind of give me a quick version of what happened.
Oh, okay. I was up to this point, and I was in the bedroom area, and Anna came in, and she said to Tom, she says, I don't like the way you treat me. And when that starts at all, I just dismiss myself because I don't get involved in those conversations. So I went behind Ann and into my dressing area, where the bathtub and everything is. And of course the door closed, so I really couldn't came open, so I was in there. And I thought, Tom asked me, where are you going? And I said, I'm going to go in the other room, which just meant in there because I didn't want to get involved in the discussion at all. So I painted my fingernails actually, and I had time to I just got time to get to the last one when I heard the shot. And I recognized it as a bullet shot. And so I came out and I saw Tom on the floor, kind of like in midway between the door and the wall, and it was evident. I could see. Was it on his left side? He was down. I think it was on his left side. It was evident that he had been shot, but I couldn't see either of them until I pulled that door back, and that's when I saw him on the floor, her standing there with a gun, and so I looked down and I saw Tom, and I saw. That's what must have been on this side because he was on the floor, but he was totally flat. And then I ran behind my bed, so the other side by the window. I ran behind that, and Anne has macular degeneration, so she can't see real well. And so what I did is I got down, and she had the gun up, and so then every time I got my head up, she went like that. She never shot at me though. To my knowledge.
Is she saying anything at this point? Are you saying anything at this point?
I'm screaming, and you'll hear it on the 911 call. I was screaming hysterically, Anne, stop, put your gun down, and I got down. But every time I put my head up, she was standing there ready to shoot me, and I said, Anne, get down, no. Then I was on the floor, and I was on with 911 the whole time. And so I was watching her feet, and I could see Tom then, too. So I'm on the floor on the other side of the bed looking under the bed because I thought if she stays there, 911 will come, we'll be okay. But if she starts to go towards me, what do? It didn't occur to me, but I'm looking under there, and I did see her reach down, and she did check his neck, and it was on where the gunshot was. So I assumed it was going to be a fingerprint or something, I don't know. Then she just stood back up. I got back up thinking, okay, what are you going to do? Pulled the gun again towards me. I got back down. Then I saw her lift, right about here, his right arm, I'm looking under there, up, and then it dropped. And then I just kept watching, thinking, and I was yelling to the 911, please get the police here, kick down the door, I don't care what you do, she's going to kill me. There's no doubt I was frightened that she was actually going to kill me. She had that gun pointed. So then she started walking towards me, and I could see her feet under the bed. So I stuck my head up a little bit, and she had the gun down to her side. I think she's right-handed. Anyway, she had her gun down to her side, and I thought, okay, it's going to be all right. Not besides this, and I started to step towards her thinking I was going to be able to, and she just, I got that gun away from her. It was a brown gun. And I believe I threw it. So I think it landed somewhere over near where I was or something, but I threw it because we were right in front of the dresser. There's a dresser in there. So she made it all the way to the dresser by the time and I'm like, Anne, no. And she got in her pocket, she pulled out another gun. She had a second gun. So she pulled out a second gun. And that's when I was so close to her. I didn't know what else to do, but I've watched too many SUVs. I grabbed onto her and I was yelling, stop, Anne, stop. And she kept trying to come down. And so then I pushed her. I thought, I'm just going to try to force her down, as best I can. She's strong for 92, let me tell you. Anyway, so I pushed her down, and when we fell down, it was right in that, right next to Tom, and just on the other side of him. And when I knocked her down, she took the gun and she kept trying to do this, and then she put it in my side, and I got it out of my side. And then she pulled it up again.
Julie's account aligns with Anna's, and the detectives consider it credible. However, a key contradiction emerges. Anna claims the incident occurred in a fit of rage, while Julie believes it was premeditated. Shortly after the interrogation, Anna was finally arrested, a situation she had apparently been preparing for. Anna Mae Blessing was arrested on charges of first-degree murder, aggravated assault, and kidnapping. However, before her case could go to trial, she suffered a stroke and was hospitalized, later passing away in 2020. As today's case wraps up, it leaves us with chilling question. What could drive a mother to make such an irreversible choice? Was it years of frustration and suppressed emotions that led her to this breaking point? While her actions can never be justified, this story compels us to reflect on the importance of recognizing and addressing the emotional pain and distress that many silently endure. When such struggles go unnoticed or unacknowledged, they can fester, sometimes leading to a point where escape seems impossible. Share your thoughts on this disturbing case in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more such content.